In this video, we're going to be ranking Dark Souls 3 sorceries from worst to best. Now, there are some sorceries that aren't included in this list, so they might be added at a later time. At number 11, we've got Crystal Hale, one of the most useless abilities you can have in any game. It barely hits any enemies and barely does any damage. At number 10, we've got Farron Dart. This ability is slightly more effective than Crystal Hale, but it doesn't do nowhere near enough damage for it to be effective. At number 9, we've got Great Farron Dart. This is slightly better than the regular Farron Dart, but I still think it doesn't do enough damage for it to be effective. I'd say this is about a 2 out of 10 sorcery. At number 8, we've got Soul Greatsword. I wasn't sure where to put this ability because it does do quite a bit of damage, but at the same time, it is so awkward to use. Normally, you have to dodge before using it, which is a negative. On top of that, it costs about 5,000 souls to acquire, so that is pretty steep. And on top of that, it costs 23 focus points to use, so it's very, very expensive, and it's not an ability that you can use all that often. At number 7, we've got Deep Soul. This was another tricky ability to rank because you can spam the hell out of this ability. Each increment doesn't do that much damage, but over the long term, your enemies will really feel the full effects. However, saying that, I don't think this ability does nowhere near enough damage for it to be effective. So, I'd probably say that this sorcery is about a 5 out of 10. At number 6, we've got Pestilent Mist. Honestly, I think this ability should be below Deep Soul because it's just so awkward to use. You have to summon the mist and try to lure your enemies into it, while at the same time trying not to get caught in the mist yourself. The good thing about this ability is that it does massive amounts of damage, but when you're going up against higher level opponents, they're more likely to avoid the mist than get caught in it. So I'd probably say this is about a 5 to 6 out of 10 ability. At number 5, we've got Farron Hale. This ability is way better than Crystal Hale. It's more focused, meaning it does more damage. The negative to this sorcery is that you have to get in close to really do maximum damage. But on the flip side, because you get in so close, you're able to stagger opponents way more easily, which is a massive bonus. I'd probably give this ability a 7 out of 10. At number 4, we've got Heavy Soul Arrow. This ability is actually quite good. It does quite a bit of damage, and it's good against shields as well. The negative to this ability is that it takes a while to charge up and release. I'd say this is about a 7 out of 10 sorcery. At number 3, we have two sorceries. The first one is Soul Arrow. It's one of the best sorceries in the game because of its speed. It's not as fast as Farron Dart, but it outputs more damage than Farron Dart. And because of the speed at which you can release this ability, it makes it supreme. Going on to Great Heavy Soul Arrow, the reason why it's tied with Soul Arrow is because it's not as fast as Soul Arrow, but it outputs more damage. And I feel like the way it works in the game, these two abilities are about the same. So I'd say that these two abilities are about an 8 out of 10. At number 2, we've got Farron Flash Sword. Now, some people will say, why would you use this instead of a real sword? The reason is because if you're doing a sorcery run, you won't be using a sword at all, or hardly ever. So this is a great substitute. On this ability, it is one of the best in the game because of its speed. The speed at which you're able to constantly execute this ability is a godsend. And you're also able to consistently stagger your opponents, which is a massive bonus. I'd give this ability a 9 out of 10. At number 1, we've got Great Soul Arrow. This is one of the best abilities in the game. The damage you're able to do and the speed at which you're able to release this ability is impressive. The negative to this ability is that it doesn't release as quickly as Farron Dart, for example. But the way you're able to damage your opponents and the speed at which you're able to do so more than makes up for it, which culminates in making it one of the best abilities in the game. And that's about it.